First and foremost, I want to say, Chalaim Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem HaKakodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone who rule and teach well, and honors to the brothers, preaching his truth, constant four corners, with all sincerity. There's plenty checking in on the Shabbat, right, which, pretty much just came in, right? This is the last Shabbat before the new moon, right? And then the new moon will be Wednesday, no, what was it? Yeah, Wednesday sundown to Thursday sundown, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, Wednesday sundown to Thursday sundown. Alright, so you just keep it, So, I'll keep it to the best of your ability, right? So, yeah. We're just gonna make this topic, basic. We'll just talk about Jacob's trouble, bring out two precepts. Let that be that. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 6. I ask you now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see if a man with his hands in his loins, and his woman in travail? It's like an all face to turn to paleness. Alright, so first part, men don't travail with children. Alright, but it's sarcasm. Alright, right? Why do I see a man with his hands in his loins? Right, hunched over, pretty much like a woman in travail. Like a woman when she's giving birth, she's in pain. Which women nowadays, they give birth like lying flat. They're not really supposed to do that. They're supposed to be doing like a squatting birth. It's supposed to be kind of like upright, so the baby and like gravity can help push the baby out. I think not even, but like Wisdom of Solomon 7th chapter go into that. I came upon into the earth as other men, swaddling clothes and all that. It kind of goes into that, if I'm not mistaken. I remember that. So yeah. So it's going into people hunched over, right? Why are they hunched over? Right? Because of the suffering, because of the famine, because of all the wars and the civil wars, race wars, all these different conflicts going on in this country. Men are gonna be hunched over, man. And all these turn to paleness, right? Paleness means fear, not that they're really pale, right? Because they try to use that too. These false Christians try to use that. These false Christian Edomite supremacists. You know what I mean? Try to use that to try to claim that, the Lord's chosen people or Edomites, right? Or that they're white, and that, the Lord's chosen people are not what they are, which is what they really are, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? Which is, us knowing that, is fulfillment of Hosea 1 and 10, all right? All started with, the high priest Abba Bivens, and down to our elders, so on and so forth, right? The place where it was told to us, we're not the children of living power, they will be told that you are, right? And that's what, brothers do on the highways and byways, saying, hey, you are the Lord's chosen people. You're not black, you're not Mexican, you're not just a Jamaican, you're not a fucking whatever, you're not a whichever your tribe is on the sign. You're not just Argentinian, you're not Hispanic, you're not just a Native American, right? Hell, even if you look like the other tribes and you really understand this, even if you look like the other nations and you really understand this truth, say, hey man, you a foreigner, man. You're an Israelite foreigner. Because you have brothers like that too, who don't look, they don't look like your average Negro, Hispanic, Native American. Some might look like Edomites, but, in the spirit, they really understand this truth. They really, bind with it. The spirit, but what is our spirit? We are children of the living power. So it's really just our people have been scattered. All right. Verse 7. allows for the day's grace, and it's like it's even a time of Jacob's trouble. We should be saved out of it. Right? Yeah, it's a time of Jacob's trouble. Right? A time, which brother was going to. This could be Jacob's trouble, but it's really gonna be the war's trouble. War's trouble. A time of great tribulation. You know, characterized by martial law, famines, riots. You know, all kinds of stuff going down. In the midst of that, of course, they're gonna have MLTB be pushed. Hour of temptation. They're gonna be like, hey, like you gotta take this thing if you want to come back to society. They have their like little 15-minute cities and all that shit. Combine it with the MLTB, right? Because there's gonna be like a shell of a society, you know, and to participate in it, right, and to not be, starving and deal with famine, and you know, they're gonna want you to take that MLTB, to get your job back, to participate in society, right, to buy and sell, right, like the scripture says, you know. So let's get another one. And this book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1. At the time, Michael shall stand up, the great prince will stand for the children of thy people. There should be time of trouble, such as there was ever since there was a nation, even at the same time, the time that people should be delivered, everyone that should be found written in the book. Alright, Michael, right, is the angel of command under Yahushua. Right? So yeah. So in that time, it's Yahushua, Michael the Archangel, the rest of the angels, and so on and so forth. Right? They're gonna stand up for our people with the chariots, There's gonna be time, trouble, right? Jacob's trouble, right? Even at the same time. So this doesn't mean that Michael's gonna appear, Yahshua's gonna appear during Jacob's trouble. No, in the midst of Jacob's trouble, they're gonna appear because that's gonna be, the sign of World War III, and pretty much the end of Jacob's trouble and the salvation of the elect. Right? You have to go into what was it, Matthew 24, he shall send forth, it says he shall send forth his angels together as chosen from the four corners of heaven. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much what's gonna happen. Those gonna, how has it planned out, you can have the chariots, he's gonna have the chariots pretty much, save brothers, and take them to the fathership. Alright, and there they'll, behold, there will be that number, of course, like will behold the destruction of America. Right? So yeah. In the last part, at the time that people should be delivered, right, which is the end. World War III, deliverance, right, the streams of salvation via the chariots, the so-called UFOs, right, everyone that should be found written in the book, right, yeah, and it's talking about the elect, right, the ones that are written in the book, alright, so this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, and also that 15 and 15. Right, for the sword in the destruction draweth nigh, and one shall stand up fight against another, sword in their hands. Right, American against American. Right, civil war, race wars, political wars, all types of wars, man. These people gonna go out here and start killing each other, man. You know what I mean? For there shall be sedition among men. Yeah, and they even have a movie, that predicted programming, Civil War, which shows like states breaking apart. The Lord could have it set up like that, or you could just have it with just civilians fighting each other, civilians fighting the government, so on and so forth. Right? For there should be, which is what I'm talking about in this one, right? For there should be sedition among men. If they want to know that they should not regard their kings nor princes, and of course the actions shall stand in their power. And these people aren't going to follow the government no more. And you have certain individuals that are going to actually turn against the government. So you get these militia groups out here, what I mean? They're going to turn against the government, what I mean? You're going to have an anti-government sentiment going, man, There's all these truther guys and shit like that. You know, anti-government rhetoric, right? Martial law. All right. So yeah, this can happen, man. In Jacob's trouble. You know, time of turmoil, man. Right. You know, you just gotta pray for that spirit, right? To resist the mark. You know, something to be that. I wouldn't fight this way. Shalom.